Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jay. Today I'm doing a reaction video to the Angry Video Game Nerd episode 186. This is Taito Legends on PlayStation. It's a long episode. If you see me like in delay, that's because I'm watching it on YouTube right now. Might be some ads, so just in case anyone knows that, just so you guys are aware. If I it's a little bit delayed on the reaction video I'm making right now. So, in case anybody's wondering, it's severe cause. Alright, anyway, let's check this out. I don't know how to edit, so that's what you guys are aware of. Anyway, here we go.
But first, a message from our sponsor. All right, y'all ready for the Taito titles? Boy, that's a tongue twister, but not as twisted as having your unencrypted private data being harvested by hackers, governments, and corporations. However, ExpressVPN creates a secure tunnel between your devices and the internet, keeping your private information private. ExpressVPN can even unblock geo-restricted content. Since we're talking about Japan today, the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy is only available on Japanese Netflix. So
Really?
Switch your location from the USA to Japan and they'll show up.
Ain't that something?
ExpressVPN is easy to use and it's fast. Plus, at less than $7 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's no wonder why ExpressVPN is the #1 rated VPN in the world. Take back your internet privacy today and find out how you can get 3 months free by clicking the link in the description. Head to expressvpn.com/Cinemassacre. All right, it's about that time. Let's get into Taito Legends 1 and 2. But first, just a little something I want to address. With the Legend of Kage episode, I heard some people say that there was a technical problem with the game footage, that it just didn't look right or something. And that was right after I got done saying how the Nintoaster was going to look so good. So that's my bad. There were some breadcrumbs in it, that's all. Now it's perfect. This Nintoaster's been upgraded so good, it can now play PS2 games. Yeah. So now, let's play Taito Legends 1 and 2 and see what's so legendary about them. Taito Legends 1 and 2 were released in 2005 and 2006 respectively on the PS2, original Xbox, and PC. This was back during a time when every video game company collectively decided to put out arcade compilations. Capcom had one, Midway, Atari, Namco, SNK, you get the idea. It's weird that so many companies released these and almost at the same time. Now these compilations included some must-have titles, but it also came with a bunch of shit. It's like buying a discount candy bar, where a quarter of the bar is chocolate, caramel, and peanuts, but the rest is dog shit. So the first one had 29 games, including Bobble, and about 90 different versions of Space Invaders. It also had a bunch of arcade artwork and interviews with the developers. Taito Legends 2 got rid of the extras, but packed it to the brim with games. So even if you've never heard of Taito, you sure as hell know what the fuck Space Invaders is. Not to mention, between the two discs, you're getting 68 games. That is some value of the motherfuckest. The story of Taito is kind of bizarre. They started out as a company that imported goods and made peanut and vodka vending machines. Really? Could you imagine what a shit show it would be in the United States if we had vodka vending machines? People would be going crazy. They'd be all drunk in the streets, eating peanuts while playing Space Invaders. Eventually, in the 70s,
I can
they got
see
into
that.
entertainment products and moved to jukeboxes and, of course, arcade games. In '78, they made Space Invaders, arguably one of the biggest arcade releases of all time. It was actually blamed for a shortage of 100 yen coins in Japan, but apparently that's bullshit and the coin just wasn't produced as much in '78. Imagine that, a game being so popular it's blamed for a money shortage. Space Invaders was a big deal. I didn't know Space Invaders was a series. I thought it was one and done. But here, just on these 2 discs, there's 6 different Space Invaders games. Believe it or not, Space Invaders went on to have 3 sequels, continuing the story of a bunch of space crabs or whatever they are that slowly come down to the ground. Space Invaders Part 2 added color. Whoa, in color! Now you can shoot at slowly moving space crabs in about 4 different colors. When you shoot them all, you get a cutscene. It's pretty crude, but it's probably one of the first cutscenes to ever exist. I'll bet back in '79 that made someone shit their pants. Next came Return of the Invaders in '85. This is the first major graphical upgrade. This is a real next-generation Space Invaders with bright, colorful graphics and varied gameplay. You weren't just shooting the same patterns as the originals. Now, enemies swirled around and did all kinds of crazy-ass shit. This game is fucking hard, too. In '91, we got Majestic 12, Space Invaders Part 4. This is the one I find the most fun to play in the Space Invaders cinematic universe. They really improved on the gameplay, switching up enemy behavior in crazy ways, and the boss fights are challenging, and the gameplay doesn't get boring too quickly. And they also added power-ups like screen-clearing bombs, powerful lasers, and time stopping. Stopping time summons motherfucking Mothra for some reason. My favorite level is Cattle Mutilation, where you have to save cows from flying saucers. I like how they thank you when you save them. Overall, this is definitely a great entry and a lot of fun to play. After this came Space Invaders DX, a kind of enhanced version of the original. It starts with a weird text crawl. Space Invaders had a great vogue in 1978. This one has a couple different game modes, including the original and a parody game. The parody game is just Space Invaders with the sprites changed to characters from other Taito games. If you want a real parody game, get ready for Space Invaders 95, the Attack of the Lunar Loonies. This game is batshit insane, emphasis on shit, because literally, the character I'm playing as is a blue piece of shit.
Okay.
Seriously, 2 of the characters are named Toilet 1 and Toilet 2. I like Toilet 1 because he's apparently a Japanese-style toilet-type super weapon. How in the sweet name of shit could you not choose the Japanese-style toilet-type super weapon? This is the culmination of almost 20 years of Taito game development, blasting aliens as a talking blue shit coil. The graphics are super bright and colorful, but there's so much crap flying around the screen, figuratively and literally. Also, something I want to address before there's a million comments about it, Taito Legends 2 stretches the games to fit a 4:3 TV, but you can change this in the options menu, which would have been nice to know before I recorded pretty much all the fucking footage for this episode. And why they wouldn't make the original aspect ratio the default setting is beyond me. It is what it is. Taito felt that their games would be better received looking stretched to fuck, I guess. Other than Space Invaders, a lot of the earlier games featured on these compilations are either forgettable or total ass-blasting, shit-splattering diarrhea. There are a couple diamonds in the rough, but for some of these, we're just gonna rocket through like a turd traveling out your colon and into the bowl. Balloon Bomber is a game where you play as a cannon shooting at balloons with bombs tied to them. If the bombs land, they blow apart the floor and you can't roll there anymore. The more bombs that land, the more you're limited in how far you can move. It's fine, but it's like lame Space Invaders with a lame gimmick. I'd rather save my fake quarter. On to another balloon game. Crazy Balloon. Yeah, Crazy Balloon. You guide a crazy balloon through a maze. It's probably the best game I've ever played in my life. I swear to... No, I'm just kidding. This game is boring as fuck. Next. Colony 7, it's Missile Command, but shitty. I can't play this for more than a few minutes. That's it. Next again. Phoenix is another Space Invaders-like game, but it has weird bird aliens. It kind of feels like Galaga, but it actually predates it by about a year. You play as a weird crawling ship and just shoot everything. The sound is awful. It's constant trilling and sirens all throughout. It gives me a headache. There's a boss fight, which is kind of cool, but the sound just makes me want to shut it the fuck off. Lunar Rescue. It's basically a mix of Lunar Lander and Space Invaders. This one's actually kind of fun. You land on platforms and avoid meteors going down, and then pick up a guy and fly up shooting through Space Invader-y type enemies. It's okay. So then there's Rhyme Ice, or however it's said. It's a futuristic Pac-Man. Instead of a yellow circle guy in a maze eating circles, you're a future car in a maze eating circles. You can grab power-ups to help get through the maze, and there's even boss fights. Also, every once in a while, you get a cutscene of this guy. I don't know what the fuck kind of drugs these game designers were on. If Rhymice is a future Pac-Man, then the electric yo-yo is Pac-Man if he were a yo-yo.
Yeah.
Taito were the experts at providing the perfect putrid platform for their game developers to piss their shit onto, like finding the right cat litter. I mean, you get the ideal texture, particle size, and natural herbal attractant, just so the cat can come in and say, this is a good place to piss and shit. But Jungle Hunt is a bona fide classic. I used to play this on the Atari all the time. The arcade is better graphically, but I like the Atari's music during the camera part better. Next we have Zookeeper. You run around breaking in animals and making sure they don't escape. The sounds in this game are hilarious. It's kind of weird that he bricks them in. I mean, that'd be a pretty shitty zoo. Yeah, imagine paying $20 to go to a zoo and then all the animals are behind brick walls. Like Roger Waters. I mean, there was the album, the Pink Floyd album,
boy.
Animals. And then there was The Wall.
Rip-off?
Here's the most metal fucking game so far.
Unbelievable.
Civalian or Civalian?
Really?
Civalian.
You control the Mecha Dragon, a robot motherfucking
I wouldn't go see that
dragon
zoo
in
at all.
space, blowing
Period.
fire on everything. This game seems like it'd be amazing, but you die so easily. I mean, how in the hell do you make a game about a Mecha Dragon suck? That's a letdown. Plump Pop is another game that is kinda like another game, but with a twist. It's Breakout or Arkanoid, but instead of launching a ball at blocks, you're launching your child at flying saucers. It's a game about child endangerment in the name of saving the world from aliens? Imagine if the only way to save the world was to launch your only child into the fucking stratosphere to smash into UFOs!
What the heck?
Oh my god, just for a medal of goddamn honor!
What the heck?
Fine. This game is basically the prelude to Akari Warriors. Except even worse. I mean, holy shit, is it bad. This might be the worst game in the entire collection. So, unlike Akari Warriors, here you play as a guy who's constantly unhinging all of his joints. His legs are all floppy and he can't hit shit with his gun. I'd rather brush my teeth with aardvark shit. That's ground up, digested dead ants all stuck in my teeth.
What the
Fuck
heck?
this game. Wild Western is shitty too, but not as shitty as Frontline. But it's damn
Yeah.
close. It's hard as fuck to hit anything, and
Stormtrooper.
it controls like ass. The best part of the game is the fucked up looking horse in the cutscene between
Ew.
levels, and it looks like it has Homer Simpson's mouth or something. The Fairyland Story is a pretty bizarre game. It's one of those games where you have to clear the screen to move on like in Bobble. But here, you play as a witch who turns enemies into cakes. After a few levels, she rides around on a goofy-ass
kinda
wingless
does.
dragon. Also, in the later levels, there's crosses and shit in the background, and you have to fight the Pope. What in God's name is going on? Don Doko Don is another similar
Okay.
game. You're a gnome in Maryland. Not sure if they meant Maryland or Maryland or the state Maryland. You clear screens with the
What
saddest
the
attack
heck?
ever. I mean, it's hard as shit to hit anything because your hammer has 0 range. Yeah, I hate this game. Kiki Kai Kai is a weird one. It's almost like a shoot 'em up, but not. It's actually a prequel to the SNES game Pocky and Rocky. You play as a Japanese priestess whose family gets taken away on a boat or something, so you set out to save them. It's insanely hard and has no continues, so I didn't get very far. One thing, what is this snake? What is this snake here? What is this thing coming out of the shrine? What is this shit? Kicks, Super Kicks, and Volfied are all the same game. Right?
Wow.
You draw lines and try to clear away parts of the level while avoiding enemies and stuff
What
that's
is
flying on
that?
the screen. Shack and Pop is a game that has all
What
the
is
enemies
that?
from Bobble. I think it's kind of like a prequel or something. You play as some kind of thing named Mr. Chakin, and your hearts get stolen. So you navigate a maze to find and release them. The game plays like garbage. You drop bombs to attack, but they kind of just do whatever they fucking feel like. Sometimes the bomb goes in front of me, and sometimes behind me. But either way, I always end up dead. Yeah, I beat one level, this piss puddle, and would rather punch myself in the nutsack than play another. I've talked about
They
Bubble
won't.
Bobble before, and you all know the gist of it, but here's the sequel, Rainbow Islands. I'd never guessed that this was a sequel to Bubble Bobble, but it says right there on the title screen, the story of Bubble Bobble 2. Well, then what about Bubble Bobble 2 on Nintendo? Oh, we'll get into that some other time. You play as a chubby kid in a lederhosen with the magical ability to throw rainbows. What's kind of cool is you could even use them to walk up to higher platforms. I mean, it's a pretty competent platformer game, but it scrolls upwards instead of sideways. So even though it feels very different than Bubble Bobble, I gotta say, it's pretty fun. Another game related to Bubble Bobble is Bust a Move Again. Later on, the Bubble Bobble Dragons would even show up in the series. This is one of the most addicting games in the compilation. Each level's background moves forward in time. You have the Big Bang or something, a caveman, and Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that thing? Oh, fuck this game. I never want to see it again. Taito did some puzzle games well, and others not so well. Plotting is garbage fire. You throw blocks at other blocks. It has weird music and bland as hell graphics. And that's it. 2-Bit and Cleopatra Fortune, on the other hand, are pretty cool Tetris-like games and are really easy to sink some time into, especially 2-Bit. You know, this is a good game. I should play it some more, but I got too many shitty games to get to. Poochie Carrot is a weird one. Who would have thought with a name like that? It's like Breakout, but this time you have to knock down jewels. If you miss, the jewels get lower. I died right away, then got super lucky and fucked up the computer player. But those characters in the background are so annoying. They jump around and yell and do a bunch of weird anime shit. It's super distracting and makes the action hard to follow. But even weirder is Camel Try. Why is it called Camel Try? Well, because there's a camel in the logo. Why is there a camel in the logo? I have no idea, because there's 0 camels anywhere in the game. It's all about navigating a marble through a rotating maze. Maybe it's meant for camels to try? Oh, can camel try? Can camel try?
Okay.
Taito also made some pretty decent shooting games like Battle Shark. In the arcade, the machine actually had you looking through a periscope and firing at things. But on the TV, it's very plain. You shoot torpedoes at other subs. I mean, it's okay. Space Gun is an alien-inspired shooter. It's really bloody, too. Alien chunks splatter on the screen, and they explode in spectacular fashion. There's people you can save, but I accidentally shoot them. They run at you while you're in the middle of a firefight, so it's their own damn fault. Fucking idiots.
Oh,
There's a game
wow.
here called Operation Wolf, where
Doom.
every time you fire the gun, the screen flashes in a way that's so horrible it could possibly cause seizures. I'm not joking around, and for that reason, I'm not going to show it. So this makes it a rare instance where the game is actually so bad that I can't show it for safety and health reasons. Luckily, the sequel, Operation Thunderbolt, gets rid of the flashing and is a lot more fun. The action is pretty intense. You play as a Green Beret fighting terrorists and saving hostages. They're as dumb as the ones in Space Gun and just run at you while you're firing. You destroy everything: terrorists, tanks, jeeps, boats, fighter jets, and with nothing but an Uzi. I mean, damn, that fucking Uzi is a weapon of mass destruction. Nukes would look at that Uzi and say, nah man, fuck this, I'm out of here. I like how the terrorists drive tanks through the hallways of their office buildings. How do they get in and out? At the end, you have to save the pilot. I think you can accidentally kill him, but I was too good and wasted the leader and flew the hostages home. All in a day's work for the Green Beret guy and his magical super Uzi. So now from light gun shooters to shoot 'em ups, Taito had a lot of really good ones, but one that sucks crocodile cock is Tokyo, which could be a typo because it takes place in Tokyo. It's slow, boring, and when you die, you have to wait for the game to reset. And there's no continue, so if you die, that's it. The projectiles are practically invisible, so I die constantly. You can get power-ups, but they can actually be shot down. Just skip this one. Gun Frontier is another weird one. It's a Wild West space shooter. Your ship is a big gun with wings, and the bosses are giant revolvers. It has the same problem as Tokyo, though. When you die, it sends you back. I got stuck at this mini-boss for a while. It's not a bad game, but fuck it anyway. Gekkerinden, Grid Seeker, and Metal Black are all 3 very generic shooters with different gimmicks. Honestly, I have trouble remembering which is which. Metal Black has a bunch of blobby things that power your laser or give you a super powerful beam that kills everything. Gekurinden has space helicopters. Yeah, space helicopters. Also, you go back in time and fight old-timey planes with super space planes. Yeah, imagine being in the 1940s during World War II and a fucking space helicopter comes out of nowhere and obliterates your whole squad. Gridseeker tells the story of the Second Persian Gulf War that happened in the distant future of 1999. So it's sorta like they kinda almost predicted the Iraq War. Although, the big difference, there was no giant fucking octopus tank. Raystorm is a mediocre 3D shooter.
Really?
It looks awesome, but it plays like the rest. Taito also included Darius Gaiden and G Darius, which are pretty popular shoot-'em-ups. They're fun, I guess. They play mostly like R-Type or Gradius. G Darius is in 3D and has an attack that lets you take possession of enemy ships to use as weapons. They're pretty cool games, but what I don't understand is why the fuck all the bosses are giant fish robots? It's the strangest theme I've ever seen in a shooter like this. They all have weird-ass names like Ancient Dozer and Prickly Angler. I think I asked this earlier, but what were they smoking? The best Taito Legends shooter I played has to be Exexius. Exexius? This game is a blast to play. You play as a flying dude who can turn into a ship. The difficulty is fair, so you know what? This is another one I thought would be ass, but I'm gonna have to give it a pass. Of course, this being Taito, there has to be a cutesy shooter. And here you have Insector X. You're a cute character shooting cute bugs in cute levels. That being said, this game is not easy. It's one of the hardest shooters of the whole collection. I died over and over again, and eventually had to just move on because I have so many other games to get to. So it may look cute, but it's a fucking asshole in disguise. From cutesy shooters to cutesy platformers, we got the New Zealand story. This is another one on the I don't know pile.
I hate that.
Why is it the New Zealand story? Is this how New Zealand was discovered?
This really goes
when a
dark
walrus
and you
kidnapped a
can
bunch of
skip
kiwi birds, one of which was smoking a cigarette? Please, if you're watching this in New Zealand, what is it that I don't know? Am I missing something here? Do kiwis shoot bows and arrows and fly around on geese? Do they fight giant frozen whales? And when they die, do they go to heaven like in this game? Please, let me know. Next is Liquid Kids. Liquid Kids? What the hell? Feels kind of like a sequel to New Zealand story, but now you play as this thing named Hippo. I guess it's a hippo, and you throw water balloons at stuff. It's another batshit drug-fueled acid trip, but you should be used to that by now. I kinda am. Bond's Adventure. In Japan, this game is called Hell Tour. Trust me, just wait. This game is fucked up. It may look like a fun, cute game, but this shit gets dark. The game starts off like every other Taito game. It's difficult but fun, and you go through the levels, fight monsters and platforming, and then you reach it. The Bloody Pond, a level that has absolutely no place in this game, or any game. There's no music, just the sound of a blood pond sloshing around. Decaying limbs stick out of the blood, and eyeballs bounce you around. This menacing fish thing follows you as you desperately seek the exit and end to this nightmare. By the way, this game was made by Kenji Kaito, the guy who produced Tomba, Ape Escape, and Shadow the Colossus. Wow, he's fucked up. Now, to lighten the mood, who likes some sports? Hopefully you do, because Taito has sports titles. Full disclosure, they all suck. But we're doing them all, so sit tight. Alpine Ski? More like Alpine Pee. Seriously, this game is ass and a half. If I could, I'd throw this game across the street into my neighbor's yard so they could be like, what the fuck is this? And then throw it away from me, because I'm not soiling my trash can with it. Continental Circus is pretty much like Pole Position with better graphics and horrific explosions. Well, that driver is D.E.D. dead. Hat Trick Hero is a shitty soccer game, but it does let you play as Guile on the USA team. Nah, just kidding. But why do Japanese people think Americans have that triangle-ass hairstyle? Yes, this is another boring one, and oh look, I scored a goal. Good, I'll turn it off now. The only sports title worth a shit is Great Swordsman. It's a fencing game that's pretty fun. You can attack high, medium, and low, and just try to jab your opponent.
Dang.
Sometimes you even knock off their helmet.
Yep.
What is going on here? Do the judges all look like Adolf Hitler? Oh my gosh, what the fuck? The second level is Kendo, but I sucked at it and died. That brings us to the next game, which plays like a pseudo-sequel to Great Swordsman, Gladiator. You walk automatically through a dungeon, avoiding bats and fire. Eventually, you reach an enemy, and the game goes into a one-on-one fight. The point is to knock their armor off and strike the exposed part. If you win, you move on to the next one. If you lose, the guy does an awkward jig over your corpse.
Yeah, they
There's one at one
do.
point who laughs and celebrates when she knocks all your clothes off. I couldn't beat the boss. He's some guy who blows fire. I don't know. Fuck it. Next game. Thunder fucking Fox. You're a shirtless badass running into enemy lines, stabbing the ever-loving shit out of anyone stupid enough to fuck with you. This game's pretty awesome. You can get into vehicles and pick up a bunch of weapons like grenades, handguns, flamethrowers, and missile launchers. Level 2 starts off like a side-scrolling shooter as you make your way to a flying battleship. Then when you reach the ship, you get to mow down enemies in the sky. This one's also a lot of fun. Also, I love when you get sucked out the doors of the ship. It's hilarious. Whoa, look at him go! Next, we have The Legend of Kage. Oh, no. It already got its own episode. That greedy son of a bitch can go suck a shit out of an orangutan ass. Next is Rastan. You're a Conan-type barbarian laying waste to a whole bunch of enemies. Bats, lizard people, four-armed skeleton guys, all shall fall to the might of Rastan. It's fun, but it's hard, especially in level 2. If you die, you get sent back to the beginning, which is brutal. The sequel is Nastar, which is Rastan spelled back. Wait, no, it isn't. It's just Rastan scrambled up. I mean, what kind of gimmick is that? It would be like making a sequel to Mario Brothers and calling it Maroi Brothers. Anyway, this game's kind of lame compared to Rastan. It has cutscenes, but good luck reading dark blue text on a black background. Even when you can read it, it makes no sense. I have opened a fire? Huh? The best part of this game is when he jumps in the air and thrusts the sword downward, it looks like he's sawing his dick off. He is sawing his dick off. So the sequel to Rastan was lame, but one sequel that blows its original away is Elevator Action Returns. The original Elevator Action is a decent old school arcade game. You play as a secret agent moving through a building, collecting intel, moving down elevators, and fighting off enemies. You make it to your car and then speed off. Elevator Action Returns takes that concept and ramps it to 11. This game is awesome, with expansive levels that sprawl and change as you move through them, and tons of enemies to fight, and different weapons to collect. You also get to play as 3 different characters, Cart Bradfield, Eddie Bullitt, and Jad the Taff. Jad the Taff? I mean, what does that mean? He's the Taff? So of course I become the Taff and blast everyone to hell. I love this airport level where you just crash a helicopter and come out shooting. Talk about making an entrance. Also, this transition between the exterior and interior of the plane is really neat. This game is mindless, but I love it and I play the shit out of it. Next on the list we have Curry Kinton. It's another weird one. You're a karate guy who rides in on a moped, shoots Hadoukens, and can meditate to make a shield. It looks neat, but it's super repetitive. Well, we're getting down to the wire now. Only a few games left, but don't worry, I saved the most Taito-y Taito games for last. Taito's beat-ups are insane. Fuck games like Streets of Rage and Final Fight. They're not quirky and fucked up enough for a guy like me anymore. Taito has shown me the way. First, the Ninja Kids. Imagine the TMNT arcade game, but replace the Ninja Turtles with Sesame Street puppets who cut people in half and fight motherfucking Satan, and you have the Ninja Kids. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The Satan. It has some interesting shit. I especially like the boss fight against the werewolf. The moon acts as the enemy's life bar, which is a neat touch. Dungeon Magic is pretty neat too. It's a fantasy-themed beat-em-up with branching paths and a ton of items and weapons to collect. It's at an isometric view, which gets kind of annoying when you're trying to hit enemies at an angle. Arabian Magic kind of reminds me of Golden Axe, if all the characters just shit their pants and were walking around with anus gravy caked in their cracks. You can unleash a genie to attack enemies and even get new ones from bosses you beat. It's your average arcade beat 'em up. Growl, however, is anything but average. How so? Well, you play as Hulk Hogan and Indiana Jones. This game is Taito as fuck. It takes place in the early 20th century, but has a ton of weapons that weren't invented until the late 20th century. The mission is to save animals from an army of evil shitbag poachers. What's actually cool is that there aren't many level breaks. Other than a lava cave you go into, all the levels are part of a long-ass background that scrolls. Every time you put a coin in the game, it goes, "Hey, come on!"
Hey, come on! Hey, come on! Hey, come on!
I enter coins just to hear this. It sounds great. After you lay waste to hundreds of animal-hating fuckfaces, you face the evil king of the poachers, who turns out to be a giant alien worm. See? I told you this game was Taito as fuck. You kill him, and all the animals come to hang out. This game is hilarious, weird, good fun. And that's kind of what I'm here for now. If it wasn't weird, I'd be pissed. Okay, so here we go. Here it comes. This is by far, without a doubt, the Taitoist of all Taitos on Taito Legends. It is Violence Fight. From the very beginning, this game has already given me more material to talk about in just this text wall than any game ever could. In the early part of the 1950s in the USA, a game called Violence Fight was in vogue among mafia, reckless drivers, and general businessmen. The Violence Fight was the game to struggle for, #1 quarreler with fighters who were gathered from all parts of the USA, speaking boastingly of their strength.
Violence Fight.
And of course, a lot of winning money as well, as the honor were given to the winner. Here in a downtown in LA, a young fighter Bat and his manager Blinks seek for the winning money eagerly. As a matter of fact, can Bad take the #1 place in the USA? Wait, they spelled his name 2 different ways? Is it Bad or Bat?
What?
Yeah, here you go. His name is Bat Blue. Like Labatt Blue? Maybe he's a Canadian beer fan. Wait, no, it's Bad Blue on the character select.
What the heck?
Your mind. He's the main character. You can't decide what his name is? Lick Joe? Lick Joe! His name is Lick Joe! I'm sorry, Bad Blue or Bat Blue or Labatt Blue. I'm gonna have to pick Lick Joe. Okay, let's get into the game. Okay, I'm sorry, Lick Joe. Lick Joe! Hey everybody, who wants to lick Joe? Oh, fuck names like Ryu and Ken, Scorpion, Sub-Zero. Lick motherfucking Joe! Alright, that's the best name I ever heard. So anyway, according to his bio, he killed 13 wrestlers during playing. What kind of wrestling promotion lets a guy wrestle after killing 13 wrestlers? Why is he not in jail? Instead, he's allowed to be in the Violence Fight? Well, I mean, it is the Violence Fight.
God.
Oh my god, it controls like ass. It's kind of like an even shittier version of Pit Fighter. But you know what? It's got Lick Joe, and that more than makes up for it. Between matches, you get this awful art of the character and their magic. It's kind of like the taunting screens in Street Fighter. But in Violence Fight, it's fucked to shit.
What?
Sammy you? What is that supposed to mean? Sammy you? Sammy you? Is it trying to say that Sammy is you? Or it's just saying Sammy to you? Like fuck you. Oh, I've been wasting my time with curse words like shit, fuck, and ass and bitch. But Taito comes along into my life and shows me the real way, the real Mac Daddy of curse words. No, instead of fuck you, I'm saying Sammy you. Hey, Sammy you salmon mother Sammier. Every time you hit an enemy, these weird words show up like Dagoon and Bogun and Goon. Is it like the sound the hits make? Like an onomatopoeia, which is a weird word in itself? But anyway, what the fuck sound is Dagoon? Imagine if you were watching the 60s Batman, and every time someone gets hit, instead of saying bam, pow, or biff, it said Dagoon, Bogon, and Goon. Seriously, I can't praise this game enough. It's comedic genius. I mean, you could have the funniest comedians of all time write for years and never come close to the perfection of his Violence Fight. Why are you fighting a tiger? What the fuck is score a point over? Why are the Twin Towers in the background of 1950s Los Angeles? Violence Fight. That's fucking why. The first rule of Violence Fight is you talk about Violence Fight. Fuck Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or any of these other fighting games on next-gen consoles. No! I want fucking Violence Fight!
The tiger! What? Do this. Fight.
Well, that's Taito Legends. There was some good, some bad, some ugly, and then there was Violence Fight.
Oh
But
my
I gotta
god.
end this because this was a marathon. 68 games over those 2 discs, and if you count Legend of Kage on NES, that was 69 games reviewed this month. 69, dudes!
Wow. Good website. Wow. I'm hitting the like on that video right now. Sorry if I'm behind like over probably 30, 40 some seconds. Probably like 30 seconds the most, but very good episode nonetheless. The Link Joe one got me. Oh my, that was great. If you like my reaction, please leave a like, comment. Also, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank all my subscribers for subscribe, like, and comment, and share. And video without you, I won't be doing it. So, thank you, everybody. I hope you have a safe and wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you next time. Take care, stay safe, stay humble, and be a blessing.